hold on 1
Right.
second though. How is she affording this house?
That's
Like
the same thing.
this,
That's the same
this
thing I
She's
asked
got
mom.
lots of jobs.
I don't care. I don't
But
care.
nah,
He's working temp jobs.
Toronto.
This house is immaculate.
it's on the beach.
It is right there on the beach. It is. That was my
This is
literal
the
first
part of the
question. How
movie
can she
where
afford
we
this?
have to accept that there are some things that are just not realistic. I wish this was the only thing not realistic about this movie.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's so much. Yeah, everybody, welcome back to another mother-filled episode of Family Reels. I am Tracy. What are you guys? I'm
What?
Tracy. You know, whoever was
Oh,
just
am
named.
I next?
Yes.
I'm Johnny or Jonna.
We just
And
moving.
I am the MOM, Mom of Masters.
You are indeed. We are here again throughout the entire month of what month are we in? May.
Yeah.
Woo. Losing my marbles every day. It's just getting
Yeah.
further and further from whatever sanity, I guess.
Moving.
Yeah, we are here. What are we doing?
Mad Moms.
That is
Mad Mom.
That's what the theme for the month is.
Mad Moms.
Or Mad Mothers.
And we know mad could mean actually mad. It could mean crazy. It could mean all kinds of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Diabolical.
entendres, so to speak.
Yes.
That can go. Am I using that right? What does
No, I don't think so.
What does entendre mean? I don't know. Because when people like double
It means
entendre,
double intention, I think, or what's intended.
then,
So
yeah,
maybe you're right.
yeah, I'm using it right. Jeez, who does that to me?
Well, nobody's looked it up yet, so we don't really know.
That is true.
How did you know I was on that?
Oh, she is looking it up.
Double entendre, a word or phrase open to two interpretations, one of which is usually risque or indecent. Yeah, that's true.
I'm still right. I am right. Applause for me. Thank you.
I'll give it to you.
Thank the Academy. I don't know what to say. I never won anything.
Stop.
Oh man. Okay. So here we are, week 2 of our Mad Mom situation. And yeah.
We've got a lot to unpack.
This is your pick. So let's start with you. Why?
Why did I choose it? Well, This has been a family favorite, if you will, especially with me and Jonna in particular. Because of some true life experience.
Yeah, this is like an unintentional documentary of kind of your life a little bit.
You would think it's just such a fictional character that plays the mother-in-law in this. No,
she exists.
Yeah, it's amazing how like people like this do exist, and it's like to the extreme. That's the worst part about it. It's not like I don't like her and I'm just gonna not go out of my way or anything like that. But she's out of her way to be the worst person she possibly can in this. Jonna, do your thing real quick before we get any further.
Well, this is about a girl, which is played by Jennifer Lopez. She plays a girl named Charlie, and she meets this guy, and he wants to marry her, but she's got problems with her mom-in-law. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's
problems on steroids.
The movie is Monster-in-Law. We have not said it at all this whole time. And the movie is Monster-in-Law, starring like
so apropos
Jennifer Lopez and
Jane Fonda
and Wanda Sykes. Whoever this guy is, because he's a non-factor pretty much
I've
out.
seen him though on other
He was in
things. I
Never
can't
Been
think of nothing.
Kissed.
Oh,
Uh, he was in
oh,
Never Been Kissed.
he's the pedophile
That was
teacher.
him.
Oh yeah, that is
That was
him.
him.
He's the pedophile teacher. That's funny as fuck.
Anyway.
He is. Look, tell me I'm lying.
I mean, it's a
Anyway.
pretty inappropriate
Yeah,
story.
yeah. It's not a happy ending for anyone in that story. The dude's going to jail. Yeah.
Well, shall we dive in?
I mean, I guess we really don't have much of a choice here. There's no way to start. I don't even know where this movie really
Well,
starts.
it kind of starts kind of showing Charlie, which is Jennifer Lopez's character. And I know at one point her getting a message from a temp agency, saying that they wanted her to come into the doctor's office or
Right.
whatever the next day. And then I think then you see her, on the beach with the.
Hold on 1 second though. How is she affording this house?
That's
Like
the same thing.
this,
That's the same
this
thing I
She's
asked
got
Mom.
lots of jobs.
I don't care. I don't
But
care.
nah,
He's working temp jobs.
Toronto.
This house is immaculate.
it's on the beach.
It is right there on the beach. It is. That was my
This is
literal
the
first
part of
note.
the movie
How can she
where we
afford this
have to accept that there are some things that are just not realistic. I
house?
wish this was the only thing not realistic about this movie.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's so much going on here, and it's unfortunate because
Or what I meant to say honestly was this is one of the few things that's not realistic about this movie, even though to the naked eye it would seem extreme. But we
everything.
will go on.
We will
Huh?
go on.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going. What you got?
Oh, I was saying also that she's on the beach with the dog. She's walking the dog. She's also a dog walker. So
Yeah.
she's walking a whole bunch of dogs, and then she's sitting on the beach and she sees this, handsome man running down the beach and everything. She kind of gets like, enthralled by that.
This
Um,
dude looks like the generic, like if you play video games and you create a character, he looks like the generic character before you like customize him to make it look like however you want. Like he's got no defining features. He's just like blandly handsome.
she's
But
like Ken doll.
yeah, that's what it is. Like he's not like he doesn't have anything that makes you be like, oh man, this guy. Like he's really just like generic. He's like, we needed a white guy. We needed an average looking white guy for this role, and we found him.
He
And
was very generic and like really handsome at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say because he is. I mean, Tracy, maybe it's not. That part you can't judge. I would say he's handsome, definitely.
I said that
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
he's
But he
generic.
is. Yeah, I know what you're saying. He has a.
Definitely a handsome looking
Yeah.
dude, but he's generic as hell.
Yeah,
He's got
definitely.
no
They
defining
could have
character.
put any guy in that place, that role.
And I also think it doesn't help that his acting isn't very. It
Well,
doesn't
to be honest, though, I think in this role,
Yeah.
it kind of worked because
man,
he was sort of a non-factor in a way, but enough to become part of why there is the issue, the protagonist antagonist issue, if you will.
Well, the thing is, he's not in any scenes without anybody else.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He really is there to move the parts of the story that make him necessary to why all this is happening.
He's only necessary because without him, there would be no monster-in-law.
There would be no story.
When he leaves in the middle of this movie, and it's like,
I know, but let's say, wait, let's go. Let's.
I don't care. No, that's important. It's just.
We got to get to it.
He's toast, man. He's just toast.
So anyway, all of that, and then she ends up running into him in the coffee shop, right?
Yeah,
literally running into him.
I'm sorry. This scene was it was kind of dumb to me seeing this scene. It's like, it's that typical a-hole at a coffee shop saying, I wanted cream in my coffee. the hell?
No, he was specific. He wanted non-fat cream. He was like,
Non-fat.
oh,
I can taste the fat in this.
taste the fat. Like, what? That
yeah.
and the fact that there are crazies like that bothers me. Like, you can
Once again, this is what I'm talking about.
I
That may seem over dramatized,
But there
but
are
at the
people
same
like that.
time, there are people exactly like that. And then he, on the way out, because she was like, I'll fix it. And he's like, no, never mind, or whatever. Walks out and apparently he drops his money or drops some money.
$20
And so,
bill.
yeah,
he dropped a straight dub.
huh?
He dropped a dub. Yeah, it was like a
Yeah.
full blown dub. He deserved
So Charlie
it.
picks it up off the floor and puts it in her tip cup like karma,
Yeah, no, she says that karma, and then of course Black. Thank you, girls. Like, this is some early 2000s. This is definitely some early 2000s.
So then she's so busy doing that, she turns around, and that's when she runs into him. His name is Kevin, by the way.
Then he's got a bland ass name. It's like Kevin, John, James, any of those names. Come on, bro. Like,
Probably did that purposely. Kevin, that's fine.
yeah, he looks like a Kevin for sure.
He does. It fits.
Yeah.
He could be a Kevin, a David,
Yeah,
what else? A Nathan.
I don't know. Even Nathan has a little more personality to
True,
it than
true.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know a whole lot of Nathans that aren't like.
He could be a Jerry.
Look at this.
You said like from Rick and Morty, you could be that kind of Jerry.
Jerry, Yeah.
He literally bumps into them, and then she's telling her friends. Turns out one of them is Adam Scott. He plays I forgot this dude's name.
Remy,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Remy, and he's pretty funny. He's just
I like him.
Food, doing shit, but he's clearly like, he's not like an annoying kind of guy. Like, you know how like man from the 5th floor and shit. He's literally she's okay with this. You know what I mean?
That's her friend. He just be doing stuff.
Yeah, he was drinking coffee. She was like, yeah, make do what you want to do. Make breakfast, do whatever. But she's telling him that she runs into this guy twice, and it can't be a coincidence.
Can't be a coincidence.
He's into like tarot cards and shit. So obviously there's some she's fate or whatever the fuck she might believe in is happening here too, which is kind of whack. It's a thing that never comes back up, so it doesn't really.
It does come back up.
No, it
does. When
they
she
do it once, and it doesn't come back up. That's what I'm saying. Like this.
Oh, yeah.
The tarot card things. Like if that was something about her personality for the movie, fine. But it comes up.
It does play. Let me tell you why. Because if you don't get it, she's into everything.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of annoying. Like, that's not a personality trait. It's like the lack of a personality. Like, if you don't have a personality, just be into everything. Whatever.
Sure.
Of this clothing line thing that she's working on this whole time. Like, we see her, she's like, "Oh, I'm working on that," and there's nothing ever happens.
Yeah, she's pretty all over the place, to say the least. Yeah. So then, and I was saying when she was in the doctor's office, just the part when the guy comes up and hands her a bag.
Oh, that's disgusting.
She's like, "What do you have?" "Oh, the doctor told me to bring this in a paper bag," and she opens it. Obviously, it's a stool sample, and she's like, "Whoa!" And then she's like,
"Dude, is that a thing? Do doctors do that? Like, hey, bring your shit from home? Like, that's
not like that, though. I don't know.
Yes, they did.
Give you something like a cup?
I think not now, but they did.
That's
now
gross.
Things are a little more.
That's fucking gross. That
was pretty gross.
That might be one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen, because when I saw that, I was like, huh? Like, we do that?
Like, what was in there?
Okay, so that's establishing. So she works in a doctor's office as a temp.
And
she walks dogs. And she's an artist.
Designer, and she's eccentric, and she's a caterer, and she works for catering or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll get to that. Okay. So then, later on, I guess this is or maybe the next day when she's back out there at the beach.
No,
this is the party.
No, now we're at the party. They go to this
event. Right. That's right.
It's there because her friend is catering.
Yeah, because that's what it was.
That's what it is, right? That's right. And she was helping her.
He tells her, she was like, "Oh, I've seen him 3 times. That can't be coincidence," and stuff like that.
It's the engagement party for his friend or something.
Is it an engagement
No,
party?
it is welcoming back party.
Oh, it's welcoming back. Oh, okay.
I just know Will Arnett is in this scene, and he should be in this movie a lot more, and it would have been 1,000 times better.
I know. I felt like he only popped up like 2 times.
Twice, yeah, literally twice here and then the wedding. And
that was surprising.
You need more Will Arnett. If you got him,
Will Arnett, he's hilarious.
He is. So then they're talking, him, the Will Arnett character, and a chick, what's her name? Fiona.
That's
and apparently they had a thing at some point, not like a real relationship or whatever. And then she said something about him, and that's when she was like, "Yeah, he sure does," or something about him being handsome or something. I can't remember.
He was like, he can. They were talking. It was Will Arnett who was talking about him. And he was telling this joke, I guess, about him saving orphans and shit like that. Yeah. And he was like, man, this guy could just do it all. This guy's just everything, isn't he? He's so perfect. And then that's when she was like, yeah, he is. And she was like, excuse me, were you eavesdropping on their conversation? I was like, you know what, lady, calm the fuck down. Like you need to lower that shit down several octaves and relax, because it's not that serious.
And that's when he turns around. He's like, "Oh, wait, hold on. What do you have there?" And that's when she was like, "Balls,
shrimp balls,
like shrimp and balls and shrimp balls."
Yeah. And that's when Fiona, that girl, she was just like, "I'm sorry, we're not into fish genitalia."
Ew.
Come
you
on.
Just really made it gross.
Dick. Yeah, like she's irritating throughout this entire movie. I promise. I don't know why this is happening.
What the heck?
Oh my god, hold on. Oh, she is.
What was that?
You see, that is. She's built for show business for sure. I tell you that. Wow.
That dance move though, that was
just all shoulders, man. I don't know what that is.
That was kind of dope.
So he's like, "Oh," she was like, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been eavesdropping." He was like, "You're right, you shouldn't have." But I would have told you to come over. I was like, "Shut up, man." It's
I thought like the corniest line.
He drops the corniest lines in this movie.
Yeah, he's the king of the corny lines.
It's not even just the fact that they're corny. It's the delivery of them is like generic. Like that's what everything about this guy is like. It's like, okay, there's and then there's like Safeway lemon lime soda. Like this nigga is lemon lime soda. He ain't Sprite. He's not 7-Up. He's lemon lime soda, man. Nobody. And I would love to know who else was up for this role at some point.
Like, he was mayo without no mustard added.
I feel like, oh, this is a good one. Okay, so Adam Scott is in this movie. If Adam Scott was in that role, this movie would have been way better.
But he probably would have.
Adam Scott?
Adam Scott. But I think the one who played Remy, I think that was the plan, because they didn't want anybody who was going to have enough personality to add too much to that character. Because again, although he is a focal point, he as a character is really a side character.
Yeah.
So
that's like he's
representative of
he is a side character in his own fantasy. Like that's how that works, dude. Like this is you, and you're not even here. You're not the main character in the story about you, buddy.
Yeah, basically.
Other than the corny things he says, you could forget he's in the movie, really.
I did. Literally for like a good chunk of this movie. I was like, oh yeah. Fucking Kevin.
And then so she Charlie's, I guess they see her looking at him from the little curtain from the back. And then Will Arnett's character says to Fiona, "Oh, it looks like she's trying to move in on your territory or something." And then so she goes.
No, he said trying to mow your lawn.
Oh, mow your lawn.
That was so dumb.
She's not looking from the curtain. He's talking to her at first.
Yeah,
because Fiona sees Kevin and Charlie. I hate that. Kevin and Charlie talking, and Will Arnett sees Fiona watching That's when he says
Oh,
Milan joint.
right.
It's when she peeks her head through the curtain a little bit after when
Oh yeah, when she goes
like,
over there.
oh, he's gay, and I'm just like, you
Yeah,
can't.
trying to play around. Oh yeah, they're the they're the couple or whatever. I'm
Oh,
like
he's like,
such a
oh yeah. She was like, he's the bride, or is he the
douche
groom?
move.
I don't know. And it's
Yeah,
like,
no, she's literally said, I don't know who's on top, who's on bottom, or something like that. I'm like, oh my
it's
gosh.
kind of dumb because even like in the early 2000s, man, like at this point, you gotta be there are no clever gay jokes. There's none. You've told
They
them all in
kind
the
of throughout the whole
90s, told them all in
movie.
the you told them
Yeah,
all in the 70s. You can't do it anymore. It's dumb.
Yeah.
And this one didn't even work because when it comes down to it, when he meets her at the beach the next day, it just becomes this irritating, like,
yeah. That was a awkward,
I've been with a lot of women.
because it's like, and then that's when she was like, wow, I usually my gaydar is correct or whatever,
Why would he ask her out?
and yeah, and then there's that.
But then it's like the gaydar thing. Like, stop. That's the stop.
But no, at that time, to be honest, and that's not as crazy as it seems now. A
No,
lot has happened
but it's so but it's still kind of
in
dumb.
what shoot, how long in she over 15 years, a lot.
Yeah,
So
but it's just not a good joke. That's all it is. Just because
no, I mean I get it, and what was trying to be established there is this girl
she
is
likes.
trying to throw her off the scent, if you will, but
Yeah,
she's
I
wrong.
think my bigger problem with it is that it just doesn't amount to anything important. Like her telling her that should have been like an obstacle, but it wasn't. It literally wasn't.
Yeah.
No, for about half a millisecond.
Not even that, because like I said, we get to the next scene where he meets her at the beach again because she's walking dogs, and he's
Yeah.
like, she's basically just like, oh, you're cute and cool, but have you ever been with a woman? And it's like, why are you asking? Like, what? It's such a weird way to get to it, and he's just like, you don't know him well enough to even, first of all, you don't know him like that to make those assumptions and ask those kinds of questions. So why are you doing it? And
Right.
then
And why would you or you don't know this girl,
either
so
way,
why would you
this
even
guy goes into like super defense mode. He was like, no, 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 no. I've been with lots of women. So many women. You don't even, oh my God, all the women in the world. Like
Hmm.
that's like, it's like, you don't have to do all that. And that's why, like,
well, I
this
think
whole,
that was also to show he was nervous too.
I
And
don't even think it was a nervous thing. I think he was defending himself. She called him gay. Like,
Well, but he wanted to make sure that she knew he wasn't.
right.
that's what I'm saying. It's not the nerves, it's him defending his straightness, because now he's like, he even says it, I'll prove it to you. It's like, what?
How?
I can prove it to you if you want me. Yeah, he
I don't
did.
even know how that works in this context. He says the stuff. He goes, "I'll prove it to you."
Yo, because before that he called
Like,
her on the phone, remember? He tried to call, she didn't answer, and then he was leaving a message and it was all extra awkward. Uh and then
Well,
she
that
didn't
was
call him
after.
back.
That was
No,
that
no,
was
no, no. She
after.
didn't call him back. So when he met her, he's like, since you didn't call me back, I thought I'd, bring you coffee. And he
Oh
brought the
yeah,
coffee.
yeah. Let's talk about the eye
yeah,
color thing. When she's like,
Oh,
oh, you like me? You want to take me out? And then she turns around. She's like, what's my eye color? Like, well, okay, first of all, what kind of answer did you expect? And then, second of all, he was like, your eyes. At first, they look brown, but then if you see it in the light, like then
yeah, and it goes
you
this
notice
and they
it's
look
green.
like the
That's
brown.
my favorite.
yo, the worst part though, because I wrote this shit was stalkery, because it's one thing, he hasn't had enough interaction with her to confirm that those things are happening. Those are like speculations, like, oh, her eyes kind of might be changing color. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
Right.
you're, oh, they're
Like
brown.
when has he even been able to look into her
Yeah,
eyes
that's what
like
I'm
that?
saying. Like, it's so weird to me, because it's like, not only do you have that whole thing down pat, how you've met her, you've ran into her, you haven't met. That's the thing. You haven't met her. You've looked at her from a distance once. You bumped into her at a coffee shop. That's not enough time to get all that information. And then talking about when the sunlight hits it and all that bullshit. You guys met
Hmm.
in a building when you talked for the first time, and
Right.
now you're here. There's no fucking way that you have all that information. Dude is a stalker. This isn't the first time he's seen her. He's been following her
Right,
around.
right.
She's got cameras in her house,
Or
bro.
maybe
Like,
it's outside. They're at the beach. Maybe the lighting was
No,
so
but he
great and
didn't
he
have as
couldn't
much
help but stare.
interaction. That was the
that's
most
what I'm
right
saying.
there when he had it. So it would have had to happen then.
Yeah, I'm saying maybe while he was talking to her before she turned around, he was looking into her eyes like, damn, look at them
Gawking
eyes.
at her.
This
Eh,
nigga
We'll
tripping.
give it that.
First off, I'm meeting Jennifer Lopez. I'm not looking at her eyeballs. Let's just be real about it. Like, it is what it is. I'm not looking at her eyeballs. I'm like,
Oh, I think she got cool eyeballs because they are kind of like nice hazily,
they're just brown. Like, I don't know, because
like a hazily brown.
when she turned around after she said that, I looked at him. I was
I
like,
did
brown.
too.
I said brown. I was like, brown. That's the
Okay.
answer.
At this point, the dog bites one of the dogs that she's walking, bites him or
Oh, and
whatever.
that's awesome for no reason.
And
Funny.
what I thought was funny, when they got back or whatever, um, and she's like, trying to bandage him or whatever. Uh, he gets a page from his mom.
And then
Oh
he gets
yeah.
another page. He's like, "Oh, that's my mom." And then she pages him again.
I'm
And this
sorry,
is
I thought it was just so funny, like a pager, and she's like, "You need to use my phone."
But here's the thing. I like this because he gets bit and he's like, oh, it's fine. It barely broke the skin. And she's looking for peroxide and shit. And it's like, lady, chill. That was like the smallest dog in the world. I don't
And
need
you
your
take him to your house.
No,
Like
I'm
you
gonna be
don't even
honest.
know him.
No,
That's what I said.
well,
She
yeah,
took this man that she doesn't know to her house. Like that's for him, that is like the
Yeah.
definition of privilege.
I
Because
mean, I can say because she knew Remy was there, but he could have not.
I don't know,
nah.
Remy,
She was like, he seems decent.
if something happens, let's be real. If something happens, are you counting on Remy? Like if this nigga tried to kidnap her
I
right
don't
now,
know.
are
Well,
you
yeah, if he
counting?
was at the house, I think he wouldn't do it because he's a guy. No matter whether he's gay or not, he don't
I don't
know.
know. I don't think Remy's supposed to be gay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is.
Is he? Is
Because
it
later on, he said he
does
went
it
on a
say?
date with the
Okay.
Dr. Chamberlain.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because I was like, I always like thought he was just like because that's how
they
he
mention it actually a few times.
kind of has those the same in like everything where he's just like a quirky, weird, but like
But he
level.
is different. Like he's the same but different in everything I've seen him in.
Yeah, but he's good. I like it. I
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
it.
I
He's
like
fun.
him too. He's got
in
a
Parks and Rec,
he can
he's pretty funny.
do several types of types of character. Like he was like kind of like he was an asshole in what's that movie with
Oh,
Step
Step
Ben
Brothers.
Brothers.
Stiller?
Oh no,
Uh,
with Ben Stiller. Which one?
the one with him and Kristen Wiig when he was going everywhere. It was
Life of
The Life
Smitty,
of Mitty.
Walter
Oh
Mitty,
Mitty, no, Mitty.
yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
he
Yeah,
and
was
that
a
was
pretty good
he was the
asshole in
one that
that.
came and was like taking over or whatever. And
Yeah.
he was
he's a
yeah.
good he's a good asshole in the Good Place. He's a good asshole in Step
Oh
Brothers.
yeah.
He's a good hero-esque character in this horror movie that's like a comedy version of The Omen. It's
Oh,
funny.
what?
Yeah, it's some funny stuff. But he
Oh,
I like him.
yeah.
But
But
this is where we
anyway,
finally get to the good parts of this movie. We can finally
okay, so she pages him twice. So that's already giving you a clue because it's like within a short period of time. Because first she was like, "Do you need to use my phone?" He's like, "No, no, it's okay." And then the page comes again, and then all of a sudden you see, boom, and you see her coming through the doors of the studio, talking about the meeting she's supposed to have with I guess, the network execs, and
yeah.
she was telling Ruby, which is Wanda Sykes' character, that last time that happened, I got a big promotion in my own show, and this, that, and the other. And she's like, "Well, just be cool, blah blah blah." And then this girl comes to run up to a young lady, and she's like, "Oh my gosh." She's all enamored with her, and she's like, "Oh, like starstruck." And like, she was like, "Oh yeah, can you just go get me some coffee or whatever?" And she's like, "Oh sure." And then she's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell my friends that I'm replacing Viola." What was her last name?
Viola Fields?
Is it Fields? Yeah.
It is Fields, yeah.
Yeah, Viola Fields. And then, oh no, she said that after she walked out, but
Yeah,
Wanda was right there,
she
and
heard
she's
it.
like, "Oh Lord!" She goes over there, and they're telling her, she's like, "So you're replacing me?" And
And
then,
this is funny to me only because it's like how often do you think this happens in general? Because it's one thing to fill someone's spot, right? Say we're not going to move forward with your show. To use
Right.
the term replacing is so much worse. Like,
Of
you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
course.
There's got to be an easier way to ease into that transition.
Also, it's so weird because the show is her name.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So in other words, you're basically going to take her name off, or for like the first couple of weeks, they're still going to keep her name on and allow this guest host to come in, and then she's going to be a permanent host, kind of like they're doing with like Wendy Williams right now, where
Oh,
they had
yeah.
No, not anymore. Wendy Williams is done. But
well,
yeah,
no, but that's what I'm saying. While
yeah,
she was gone, she had a bunch of different guest
yeah,
hosts taking her
yeah.
spot, but now they have a permanent host, and they're just going to change the entire show.
Oh no, they shut the show down, and
Oh, they
now
did.
they're
I haven't
giving
got that far.
Sherry Shepherd is getting a show that's separate.
That's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's really the same thing. Like
It does seem like it. Yeah.
no matter how they tried to explain it, they were like, okay, so we're canceling the Wendy Williams show, and now we're moving on to the Sherry Shepherd show. It's like you're just replacing Wendy Williams. It's the same thing. It's going to be the same show. It's literally going to be the same show.
I
She's still gonna
wonder.
say, "How you doing?"
Although I will say, the times that I did watch was when Ray, what's her name, Leah Remini, and her friend
Yeah.
were hosting.
Yeah.
They're fucking hilarious, man. I don't know.
Her and who?
She had a friend, her like some friend, a friend of hers that I
Oh
guess
yeah.
and they were just hosting together, and they were fucking
Oh
like
wow.
two Italian best friends, just being
I love Leah Remini. She
they were
just
fun. They were fun as hell. I need that show 100.
right.
I'd watch that shit.
Yeah, yeah, no, for real.
Yeah.
Let's work
So
on that. But so yeah, she's on. She's like, "You okay?" You know, she's like, "No," and she's like, "No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I can do this." You know, okay. So I guess my time is over. Yada yada. And it says all that stuff about with the young stuff and what they want and blah
this
blah
is
blah.
but
He's
this
like,
is
they don't even read the newspaper or and she's like, newspaper.
this is my favorite. But this is my favorite part of this entire movie because
Yeah.
she has to go out. She does this interview with this clear Britney Spears
Really?
like.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said doing an interview with a young Britney
Yeah.
Spears-esque
It's clearly,
singer like character.
and this is weird because even at this time, when this movie came out, this was still like that was mid Britney Spears. Like this was way young Britney Spears that this was supposed to be. And so we get to this interview, and it's my favorite because she's asking her these questions and she's answering them in the dumbest way possible. When she was like,
When you said something about Roe v. Wade, and she's
yeah,
like,
she's,
I'm,
oh, I don't
I'm
watch
really against boxing
Yeah, and then she
She
was
said she
like,
doesn't support boxing as a sport.
as a sport.
it's too violent.
It's
And she
too
was
much.
like, that was like that, and that was it for her. She leaped over and just
She lost it. And then that's what I put. I said Viola loses it on the girl. And then Wanda's like, y'all better get that little girl out of there.
Yeah, she said that like no, because she had said that a couple of questions before when she was saying some other stuff, and she was just like,
And she's like, oh.
yeah, she was just like, oh, she was like, she asked her some questions, she answered them stupidly, and Wanda was in the room like, y'all better go get her because she about to lose her goddamn life. And sure enough, I don't know what happened to Brittany after that, but she is gone.
I love this next
Oh,
part.
yeah.
And when it
They
cuts to
come to the
her,
crazy house.
she's talking to a therapist. I guess she's about to leave this inpatient place she was at. And the therapist pauses the video where she's like starting to lose it and go off. And she's sitting there like, that was me? Like, she's like, I never want to be like that.
That's funny because that is like a thing that I feel like unless you've experienced blackout rage, you'll never understand. Like, because people will tell you all the time, like, you don't remember doing that. I'm like, nah, I don't know what happened, but it happens. Like that's like a weird moment of clarity. Where she's like, holy shit,
Yeah.
that's what I look like. But then it's like, it's her fault. Obviously, she shouldn't have lashed out at this little tiny girl. But at the same time, she had just been replaced. They told her they needed someone younger. All these
She was
different
having a
things.
shit day.
And then she's talking to this young person who doesn't give a shit about anything. Like,
And so she asked her then, so are you ready? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah. Plus, she's like, I'm gonna, spend time with my son. We're gonna take that vacation to Africa, like I always promised him, and this, that, and the other. And so
Yo, why do white people love going to Africa so much? Like that's always the thing. Oh, I'm gonna go to safari in Africa. Like, what the fuck? Like, why go to safari in fucking, I don't know, Germany?
Wait, what's hilarious is who was it? Michael Blackson. Remember we were watching and talking about, was it him or was it another African dude? Well, it was a comedian, but he was like, only white people want to do that kind of stuff. Oh, what's his name? Godfrey. He was like that. You don't really see black people come in wanting to be all up close and personal with the dang animals like that. It's like,
man, that's
no. We were watching. We watched this show on Netflix. It's called what? Young Rich Africans.
Oh yeah.
It's a reality show, and they had a thing where they were going on this trip on this train, but they decided to go ahead and do it, and they all African, and they were like so freaked out.
They were.
Like, wouldn't you be? We're talking about wild animals. Like, I feel like the only people who don't give a shit about the wild animals where they live are the Russians, because they be out there hanging with bears and shit. Like, that's it.
Okay.
Everybody else is like we got wild animals. We don't be out there like,
oh heck no.
It's like, like, oh fuck a bobcat, like that video. Me.
Yeah,
this shit is
that video was amazing.
We are the only people in the world who are afraid of things way smaller than us. People are like, it's insane. Like,
real.
I'm not. So I'm definitely not gonna be
way
like
smaller. A freaking mouse. Hell yeah.
If I see a squirrel too close or just staring at me from a tree, I try to cross the street. Don't get near it. Something like
for sure. I don't
like where we went to the museum the other week, and then we were walking down the street, and there was a freaking bunny rabbit that just hopped out the bushes. I was like, oh no, heck no.
Aww, cute little bunny rabbit.
Nah, real talk. I would have seen that bunny and be like, y'all don't get too close. Like walk around. And I do that with Amira a lot, because whenever we are, she want to get close to like animals. Like stop.
She wants to touch everything, huh?
I don't know if I told you about my literal dramatic movie screen. There's some big ass lizards around here, okay? And I was cleaning the house, and the lizard was up on the wall, like close to the window. I mean, the head, I swear to you, the head was this big. And I saw it. I was coming in from work. They're in there. Nobody's like, I'm like, ah! And then nobody's
pretty big.
The door to see what
gotta get over.
All right. Terrible.
So moving on, we go to Kevin. Viola gets home, and she and Ruby.
Oh no! Before that, there is Wanda telling us so. Oh, you sure? Oh, she was talking about, yeah, I can't wait till, me and Kevin go on our trip. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm sure the three of you will have a real good time. And then she's like, what are you talking about? Huh?
So Ruby already knew.
Ruby knew, yes.
See, I must have missed that. I must have been.
Yeah. And then she says, and then she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, oh, Kevin and his new girlfriend, Charlie. And he's just like, oh. And then she's trying to act all cool about it, kind of like, oh, okay, I didn't realize he had a girlfriend or whatever. And then that's when then they cut to them. I think that's when they move in. Yeah.
Well, no, because I don't think they're moving in yet, or maybe they are. I don't fucking know. But I do know that he takes her to meet his mom.
Yeah, they were moving in. That came after, because he's like, I want you to meet my mom. And so she was like,
that's what I say. I thought they moved in after.
I don't think so,
but I don't remember.
Either way, no, they moved. This is after that.
Yeah,
and they finally move in.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, they go. He takes her to go.
Then they go to meet her,
and he's, I guess, kind of giving her a warning, but it's not a really good one.
And you see her, she's talking in the window when she sees her. Oh, she really knows how to dress it up, does she?
I took that racial. I definitely did. Like a good chunk of this movie kind of made me feel like it's not that he's a girlfriend. It's that she's not white. Like it kind of like just the things she said,
Well, not
and
just that. You got to realize she's been filled in now.
I don't
This is
care.
this is. I mean, not just that about everything about what she does for a living, all this stuff. So from what she's hearing,
No,
she
she
already made
doesn't.
a
Oh,
judgment.
when she's
Huh?
talking to them. When she's talking to them, that's when she finds out.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I thought.
I don't think because I think John is right. I think she doesn't know everything. She doesn't. I think this is literally everything is fresh to her.
Well, I know that Ruby did not, off scene,
But
told
I
her
will.
some generalized stuff.
Well, I
And
think my favorite part about this though is because when Kevin takes her to meet her, he tells her, and this is like true in a lot of ways, where he was like, "This is Ruby. This is the one that you really need to impress." And
right,
that,
right,
Oh
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's not my mom, but right here, if she says it's cool,
And then when you introduce, and this is my mom, this is about, and she's like, "Oh hi," she's like being all like she's just
Rev.
yeah. And then they start talking. They show them, you know, chit chatting, and she's being seemingly
A
warm and
little montage
engaging.
of them getting
Yeah, and it's
along
like,
in the
and he just
conversation.
looking like, okay,
I think and you know what it
okay,
is? I think she is cool because she doesn't think it's serious.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I think she's like, oh, okay,
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna be cool with this, and just just so I don't want to make Kevin think I'm trying to whatever. And I think that was all good and fine. And then that's when he's like, I'm so glad you guys. I was so nervous about this, and you
oh
guys
my God, in the
seem to
blandest
be.
way possible. He says all of this. This is the
Yeah, I
worst
know. And
proposal
he's
of all
seem to
time.
be getting along, and then that's when it's like Charlie, and then he gets down on his knee up to her, and she's like, "Oh my God!" They're both like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
And then basically he proposes to her in that moment.
And
And there,
at this point, it's only been he says it. He's like,
3 months.
I
I
know
know
we've
it.
only known each other a few months, but I feel like
3.
it's been
No,
longer.
it's 3 specifically.
Oh, 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
They've only known each other for 3 months. I'm sorry. No. Like I don't care
That was
what it
pretty
is
soon.
because it's like it just but this is why. These are
sometimes
the
those things. Excuse me. Sometimes those things work out. I'm just gonna
whatever.
let you know.
Whatever, mom.
Oh,
Anyway,
my parents. Yes.
You
why
know
you
what?
sit here?
I still don't believe any of this bull story that you've been feeding me this whole time. Oh, I didn't even know the guy, and then all of a sudden you guys are getting married. Bullshit. I
Anyway,
promise you
uh,
that's how it happened, Jana. I promise you 100%. One day
I
she's just
believe
like,
it.
we,
Who
me
is
and
this
Papa come
light
home from
skin?
school. I know I've never seen this guy before, but she says we have, but I don't remember this dude.
no.
I
Well,
just
that
remember. I remember this, Jana. This is what I remember. I remember coming home, me and Mom coming home from school, and then Mom told us Bobby asked me to marry him, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, who the fuck is Bobby? I was like, am I supposed to be excited by this? I don't know who this is.
I'm like,
And then I met
okay.
him after the wedding. I finally
no,
got to
you
see.
didn't. We hung out. That's why I know your
I don't know
time.
what
That's
you're
not
talking
true.
about. That's
We
what I'm saying.
hung out for almost 3 weeks before he went back to Washington. He hung
Whoa,
out with us. We
weeks.
went to the park. We did
I
all
can't
kind
remember.
of
You were
stuff.
like 7, 8.
Yeah, he was like 6.
Man, all
So,
I'm saying is it
and
all
all he
seems
cared about was not that.
well, yeah, Power Rangers was pretty big, so I was
Yeah.
doing my thing, man. I was
But
out there.
anyway, so then
He
so then he
proposed.
does the whole proposal
Wait,
thing.
that ring is a goddamn blood diamond. Like, what the fuck?
It was beautiful. It looked like a yellow diamond.
Why is it so big? There's
Because
no.
that's
He's
how
a
you
doctor.
dramatize.
I don't
Did
care.
we adjust that? He is a doctor. He makes decent money.
True.
How many Africans had to die for that ring? That's all I'm saying. Like, this is huge. There's no reason for it to be that goddamn big. She even looked.
Wow.
Sorry, I would have been like, I'd have like, you gotta get this the fuck out of here. Like, oh, now don't make
And
it.
then after that, so she says, um, uh, what happened? Oh, the hospital paged.
Yeah,
He's like,
Oh,
oh, you got
wait.
pages.
Can
What?
we talk about when she's all like, "Oh, I'm getting married," and Viola acts all excited. Oh, and then she grabs her head and she goes, puts it in the cake.
That was right, but wasn't that was after he walked out because he went to go answer the page, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what.
'cause he goes to go answer the page, and then she basically she kind of tries to talk her out of it in like a really
She was
subtle
like,
way.
I know it's kind of sudden. She's like, it is, isn't it? And she's like, yeah. And she's like looking at her like, and she's like, yeah. I mean, it's not like it's the 50s and you have to, get married and have kids right away. And then she's like, yeah, I know. You're right. She's going along. She's thinking, okay, this is working. And then she's like, what am I talking about? I love Kevin. I'm getting married. That's what it
Like
happened. And
the
then she's
whole
like,
thing is just, it is weird because I don't know, man. I don't know how I would react if my daughter brought some dude home and was like, we get married after only being talking to each other for like 3 months. Like, what do you
but
mean?
but
Then
but
you know
you
not a
gotta
person.
but by a lot of things that have happened that we haven't addressed because it's just too many little sub conversations, that she's controlling, and
Well, we
so
got
that's a thing, and she expects it's like, oh, it's me and my son. Now it's like, okay, now this, so that is playing into that for sure. And then all of a sudden he's like, she didn't even know he had a girlfriend, and now he's
getting
proposing
married.
to her. So it's a
Yeah.
whole thing.
Which
So
is weird because apparently they're super close and they talk every day, but she doesn't know any of this shit.
right,
Those two things don't add up to
and
me.
Ruby did.
Yeah,
So then
but
there's that.
Well,
I,
no, she.
No, he couldn't talk to her while she was in the funny
Yeah,
phone. Yeah.
she was in
oh,
the place.
so she was there for 3 months.
She was there pretty much, I think, for the whole time. Yeah.
That
That's why
is
they did it like right after that. And yeah, I
that's
think that's,
ridiculous. That's a
well,
way
it needed to be
convenient
that way
plot
for the
hole.
movie.
Like I was gonna say that's super convenient that she was there for the entire 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, oh
So
boy.
and then she's like, and when he comes back, so she's like, excuse me, we need to celebrate. And remember when she said that's what she told, no, she's like, hold on, give me a minute. She goes in there, that's when she goes into the bathroom looking for anything, drinks
Why is that why
the
do people
the
did people do
NyQuil.
that? Yeah, they were like, how much alcohol? She was like 15%, good enough, and just sort of down.
Mm,
What the
She's
she's so
in there
funny.
having a fit.
She's
She's
doing
like,
like little ritual and stuff,
she is
and with
throwing
the
a
feather.
literal tantrum.
like that doesn't that it's just
Uh,
so it's just irritating in a way because it's like, okay, first it's the alcohol thing, and we find out I guess she's supposed to be staying away from it, but that doesn't last
well,
but
I think that was her own. She was putting that on herself. She did that. She told her. That's what she told the doctor that she told Ruby to do as a proactive thing to
yeah,
lock up the
whatever.
liquor. But she's like losing it, having a fit, throwing a tantrum. Man, we have seen this in real life for real.
I
And this
mean,
is the part. So what Jonna turned to me, she said, do we find this also hilarious because we know someone just like this? Because she's like, I'm pretty sure other people think this is over the top behavior we're talking about.
yeah,
And
no,
I'm like,
and it isn't. It's unfortunately I've seen it firsthand, so there it is.
it's not. It is not.
It is
So
just so funny
so
seeing it
her
on a
throwing that
movie.
tantrum
It is
was,
funny seeing it in a
oh,
movie.
And Jane Fonda acts the part
oh
too
my
good.
gosh.
Right.
I
So
love her.
somewhere down the line, she has the epiphany that Charlie must be pregnant.
Right.
And
Oh, I
it's
know
just
what,
like,
yeah.
and she doesn't even ask. She's just like assumes, and the way she talks about it, she was just like, "Oh, I get it now. You know, you don't have to rush into these things because you have a baby. There's so many options now." And she was like, and they were both kind of like, "Yo, what the fuck? Wait, no, she's not pregnant." She was like, "Oh, I just assumed because you're getting married so early."
So quickly.
What do you think? A shotgun wedding and shit? Like, chill. No, I don't.
And she's like, oh, I don't know, call me old fashioned. I just don't think you should rush into these things or take marriage lightly. And she was like, weren't you married like 4 times?
Bruh. And
She
that's the
did.
part right there, because it was just
Like,
like, we're not talking about me though. Like,
she turned around, so she said, I guess that would make me an expert, wouldn't it?
no, no, it doesn't. It's not
I
how
like
that
this part how she turns. She's like, Ruby! She's like,
She said, we have to
give me the
celebrate.
liquor key,
Ruby,
please.
get the
The
liquor,
liquor
get the
cabinet
keys to
key.
run. She was like, there's no key. What are you talking about? Ruby.
I
Yeah,
like how she reacts. She's like, get the key, Ruby. Get the key.
See, my thing is like, okay, so we get past this, all this stuff. Yeah, Viola basically says, "I'm going to fuck this shit up."
She
Like,
does.
like, yo, this engagement, not on my watch, guys. I am not allowing this to happen. And it's just like everything she does is just so malicious that it's like it a lot of it isn't even funny. It's just like
It is funny.
No,
It's
it got worse
freaking
later on in the
hilarious.
movie. It was she was literally trying to kill her later. We'll talk about that when we get there though.
well, because the first thing is like the first thing that she does is they invite her to they throw this
Oh
engagement.
yeah. Wait, I had to put this because I put it down. And when she was like having that tantrum, it's like he's gonna marry a temp. It's like,
Like, get over
that's
yourself.
her thing. It's just like she's a temp.
But my thing is, he's a doctor. Like, he's good. It's clearly that's not the issue here. But
So this is what you said. Okay, I said she goes back to drinking and decides to make a project of getting rid of Charlie.
yeah,
Basically.
so basically she throws this engagement party or whatever.
She tells her it's a barbecue.
Yeah, she's
so she comes all underdressed.
She basically she gets her dress and she intentionally gets it a size too small for her for 2000s J-Lo's giant ass, I guess. And it's just like, yeah, so she rips the dress, but then the other part of the plan is get Fiona up in here to try to seduce her son, which is a weird fucking thing, but you know, whatever. Yeah. It's not even a good plan because once again, she goes into this room and she's just like, "Oh, hey, Kevin. Oh, do you like my dress?" I'm like, it's not even like a sexy dress or anything like that. She was covering it up with this fucking giant fur coat. I thought when she revealed it, it was gonna be like, oh, damn. No, it was a literal fur coat.
Oh, was it a coat? I looked like a shawl to me.
She had a whole ass fur
coat.
No,
it was a fur.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The way they made it look like that fur coat was covering up something like bomb underneath, and when she took it off, it was like, well, that's an average looking dress. Like it's
right.
I
thought it was kind of okay for the colors.
No, it was okay. Like that's what.
But it wasn't like she was coming out all seductive. But I don't think that was the plan, or was it before she got there?
It was the plan. That was entirely the plan. That's what.
Yeah, to seduce him.
That's what
she wore the wrong thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is the point of that cover up if what you reveal is bullshit? Like, I'm sorry, this dude is already toast. He's not gonna be excited by this average looking dress that he's probably seen you wear before. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
she doesn't seem like the kind of girl to wear the same dress twice.
I don't know, man. All I'm saying is you gotta come better than that because the dress that Viola got for Jennifer Lopez was a better dress in anyway.
Definitely, it would have fit.
Why are you dressing her better? Why, even when it didn't fit, after she ripped it and it was like a shorter dress, I'm like, that's better. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, so when she's trying to
have your pick, I'm sorry, but I'm going to pick Jennifer Lopez over whatever this girl's name is any day of the week.
Fiona.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, that was the case. But she came and tried to be all seductive, and he's like, "Back up! I'm getting married." She's like, "Oh, men in love are so hot," or some stuff. I'm like,
she mentions that we had a thing
like
once.
that.
Well, she said we had a thing once.
And he said we had
once. Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing, and it's worse because he doesn't kick her out. And that kind of bothers me a little bit because the whole time he's in his drawers changing, and he was like, "Fiona, what are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. I'm changing."
He's like, "Oh, stop!
No, please. I'm vulnerable right now." Like all those things, and it's just like he's not doing a very good job. So then when she kisses him, of course this is gonna happen. And once again, this creates no real conflict either, because immediately Charlie sees Fiona kissing her. She's already upset that the dress is too small, so obviously she's running high, and she's
like, "I don't belong here."
Yeah, so she's on, and she sees this, and she's like, "Oh no, oh yeah, take your cheap horn," and she runs or whatever, and he goes after. He was like, "No, that's not what happened. Trust me." And she's like, okay. Like,
Yeah.
Because that wasn't going to be the conflict again, because it's
well, no,
really
it doesn't have
not
to be the conflict,
about.
but it should at least be, if it was gonna, it should have at least felt like
No, it
she
should have
liked
felt like what
second.
it did. It felt like Viola was just doing shit, and that's what it
But
accomplished.
she said, she was like, "Oh, you're over there kissing your ex or whatever." Like, did she believe that, or was she just saying it to test him?
But that's what I'm saying, because she runs out the room, so clearly she does
Yeah.
believe it on some level. And I wouldn't have a problem. Like, Mom, you're right. Yeah, it's supposed to look like Viola's just doing shit, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't have a problem if it felt like what he said to her made it feel that way, because he was just like, "Hey, nah," and she was like, "You're right." Like, no, you just saw what you saw.
Yeah.
You got to do a little better explanation than, "Hey, it's not what you thought it was." Like, that never works. I'm sorry. I've never seen a movie where
Yeah,
that
no.
really works.
This is what I'm saying. When I talk to about the the unrealistic parts aren't the things that you would think are the unrealistic parts.
This nigga, this nigga is unrealistic. He is
Yeah,
the. It's this.
he
I
is.
promise you, man. Like, this is toast. This is no butter, no jelly, just random
No,
boring
lightly
toast.
buttered.
No, he's not even lightly buttered. He's just toast right out of the goddamn what is it called? Toaster. He's right out of the toaster, and someone just toast. That's all this thing is. Toast. He is so bland that it's like
Yeah,
everything he does just makes me
it's
be like,
bland. Everything he says is bland. The way he looks is bland. His
that's
facial
what
expressions.
that's what I'm saying. Because I promise you, you get any other actor, almost any. Maybe probably not Channing Tatum or like Michael B. Jordan, but you get almost any other actor, and they deliver these lines with some passion, and they sound like something. He's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
No, I mean, like
whatever
I
you
said,
fucking want.
they could have gotten somebody to build up their relationship a little better.
Well, no,
Where
no, I get what you're saying. I don't
yeah,
need to build up
they
a relationship. I
no,
just
but
need
I'm saying that would,
to
well,
deliver
what it
line.
would do with it would bring things a little more something, so you believe it and you feel it with them.
Yeah,
But
and that's pretty much all I'm
I
saying is
think
I just
they
need an
just
actor
But
didn't
who
want
can
that to
deliver
take
line.
away, huh?
I just need an actor who can deliver lines.
I know, but I just think they didn't want it to take away
Well, no,
from what was going
that's
on.
you don't need a Brad Pitt. You just need an actor who can deliver lines. It doesn't have to be anyone that you know. Just
No, no,
somebody
no. I know that. I'm just
who can
saying.
or
deliver.
But if they would have
maybe
been,
they did it that way on purpose because
that's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying.
Well,
They
no, I agree that they did. What I'm saying is, it took me out the movie because this guy is boring. Like, he doesn't even
those
strike.
guys exist.
Yeah, and but they marry boring ass women. They don't marry eccentric types. I don't think. I don't know, because I'm not a boring. Well, I am kind of a boring ass.
Sometimes they do.
I think, yeah. I think that's actually a thing. You know.
Whatever. The point is, this dude is boring, and he just keeps taking me out this movie because I'm like, all right, now you got to go get your girl back, and he's just like, hey, what's up? And she's like, oh, like, nah, fuck out of here, man. Like,
So I think where we go from here after that's over, and they're okay.
Yeah. So
She meets up with Viola
lunch.
for lunch, and basically
Well,
Viola's.
first, let's talk about what
Oh,
happens before that, because
Oh,
she calls Charlie, and they're
oh,
around on the couch, and she's like, "Oh my god, he's practically fornicating with her right now."
no, but how she started off, she's like, "Oh, Charlie, I forgot you live here."
oh, that
Like,
laugh.
Oh my god, no, that alone, if Charlie wasn't, doing what she was doing at the time, that burn might have hurt so much, because I hurt when she said that, when she was just like, "I forgot you lived there," and I was just like,
but I love how she said it so purposely. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, that hurts.
Well,
The
once
burn.
again,
I forgot.
experience that.
Oh
Yes.
my god, I forgot you lived there. That's hilarious as fuck.
that's
Little
funny.
sly remarks. And
Yeah.
oh, like I remember someone coming into my house when we in the apartment we were at, and saying, "Oh, I'm so, oh, you cleaned your house up." Or, like that kind of stuff. I'm like, mm-hmm,
That's what the fuck?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's
Oh,
so funny.
Oh no,
Like,
it was literally no, it was oh your house is clean. That's what it was.
I'm
Oh,
like,
your house is clean.
you don't be here
you
enough.
know, it's so funny. Like, I was watching this movie the whole way through, just tripping at everything. The way she was acting,
Been on
I
those
was
old.
like, that's crazy. Spot on.
Spot
But
on.
so yeah, so basically they invited, she does the thing, she invites her to lunch, and this is when she's like, oh, I'm gonna plan your entire wedding. Now this shit would have fucked me up because I promise you, the shit she started talking about had me dying. The moment she says we're gonna get the band from the whoever's wedding, I was like, I don't know who the fuck you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who are you talking to? I don't know who they are. And then she starts talking about a horse and carriage and doves and all kinds of weird shit. And I'm like, rich people weddings have to be the most boringest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. Because all you want, the spectacle is like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Why do you have doves? Why do you have lions?
She was talking about her wearing her wedding dress, which was peach or something.
Oh no, she was like, oh, I wore white, but I was a virgin when I got married.
Yeah, that's
She says, we'll pretend for you.
yes,
Like,
yes.
I'd be like, look, you only gonna get too many more of those before I slide one across you. I have to chill.
No. Oh my gosh.
You are gonna
Because
have
see,
to
this is the thing. I could I could relate to Charlie not completely losing it initially because she's trying. She's like, okay, maybe there's a real human being here somewhere. I just have to let me be patient. And I know that because that's me. I tried that. And it was
except for
just like, okay,
that garden hose
it
incident.
can only it can only go so far. You know what I'm saying? So, then it comes and then people lose it, as
Well,
is
yeah. So
illustrated in this
that's
movie.
because that's exactly what my notes say. It says Viola talking about this wedding is insane because it is insane. Like she's planning a movie. Like none of this stuff needs to be this. It's so much, and then like she
She's aggressively, suggesting what she should do for her
Right.
wedding.
suggesting isn't what
Well,
she's doing. She is telling her. She's like,
No,
I planned your wedding.
no.
Don't worry, I got everything covered. Blah blah blah. But I wasn't sure at first whether this was all part of her sabotage or if she was like being legit. Like, okay, if we're
Well,
gonna do
I
this, we're
think
gonna
it's a
do it right.
combination. I think she was definitely trying to sabotage, but it also is her personality to be in control of everything. So she was just being who she was, knowing that was going to be enough to run the average person off if they,
Yeah.
you know, what want in it to win it, if you will.
That's my thing too, because it's like when like everything is about her, like you said, controlling. When she pulls up, she's got two lackeys there doing lackey shit. You know what I mean? They're just like making little snide remarks and looking at her when she pulls up, like, that's her. You know, like, and then of course, because then when Charlie tells her no, she's
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh my
that's
god,
when she
oh,
has
I'm
her
having
fake
nervous
attack.
fucking nervous break. Like shit. Get the oh yeah, I look chin slide just one time, man. You can't you it was so
Yeah, and
I get it
then
for the movie purposes, but this is just kind of it's just dumb, man. It's just dumb. You are
so then
because
she full on goes to the hospital,
yeah,
and
apparently
then the doctor comes out and talks to them and says, yeah, she's having a psychotic break, and does she live alone? It's like, yeah. It's like, oh,
but
it's
she
really
doesn't she does isn't Ruby there?
no, that's her assistant. She don't live there.
Oh, I was about to say
No,
She's always
I'd
around,
live,
though.
I'd live in that fucking house.
but she said, uh, you know, it would be better if she, was staying with family or someone that wouldn't be by herself while she gets through this tough time. Blah
I'd have
blah
been,
blah. Oh,
and
of
you know
course.
what? You know what I would have done? I'd have been like, oh man, this aunt, sister,
Mhm.
mother-in-law, brother, cousin,
I don't
anyone
think
else?
that's it because he said in the movie, "I'm all she's got."
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I hate those. I hate that because there's always a lot of movies like that where it's just like that's it. It's just me. I'm the only one. I was like, but it can't be. Come on, man. Like she can stay with Ruby. Like, what are you talking about?
That's what I
Wow.
definitely would have
He
suggested.
said,
I'm like,
and the
this
doctor said she
sister.
needs to be with family. She said that whole thing. I mean, it was like,
Yeah,
and
it was.
then he looked at Charlie like, that's when he said, "Oh, I've got this, whatever doctor's conference crap." and
Convenient.
asked her, if she could stay with her, and she's like,
No, she didn't ask. He didn't ask. What happened was he was just like, "Oh, dang, I forgot about that doctor's conference." It's like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do,"
Yeah,
and that's
no.
when.
He
"Oh,
does he does that like passive aggressive guilt tripping shit where he's just like where he is. He's like, of course, wait, no, the doctor's conference. Oh man, oh, she's gonna have to be out on the streets, I guess. And then you see Charlie just like, I guess she can fucking stay with me while I'm on.
yes, yes,
That's
yes."
some bullshit, bro. You can't do that. You can't. That
He
stuff.
was so obvious about it. Oh, shoot.
Exactly. Oh
It'd be
my god.
like, you gotta cancel that damn conference.
But it's like, and I hate that. Just like I completely forgot. No one forgets these things. Like this is we're talking a major thing. Like you don't just haphazardly go to a doctor's conference. You plan them. You have to make hotel reservations and all of that shit. You're not just haphazardly. You didn't forget. You dumb piece of toast,
So,
motherfucker.
no, here's the part after that whole thing, and she agrees, and then she comes and she's pushing her in the she's pushing
Oh
her in
wait,
the
wait,
wheelchair.
before we do that, we did forget something. I'll just mention
What?
it real quick and go for it. She does ask Ruby to look into her because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it becomes important
Right,
later. But he
right,
does ask her to look for her, and at first they can't find anything really, and then
right.
really don't. So yeah, it just that's it. I just
Yeah,
want to make sure we got that so when it comes up later, we're not
yeah,
like look, but yeah,
yeah. But when she comes in with that wheelchair, I'm dying. And we were rolling, me and
great.
Jonna, because once again, I don't know if you remember, Tracy, were you around for the neck brace?
I don't remember. I
You
don't
might have
remember.
been gone. Maybe you were in Vegas.
Yeah, I don't remember the neck brace. That shit. I don't know because I do remember her when we had to go help her. Oh my god, I do remember her talking about the accident over and over and over again. So I don't know. Maybe I was there for it.
Oh my gosh. No, 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 no. You would have remembered this. I mean, because it's like the most. Okay, have you ever seen I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker?
Yeah,
And you remember Damon Wayans with that thing around?
yeah.
That's how
Hold
she looked.
on, you see this face? She is dying over here. Jana is dying.
That's how she
I'm
looked.
trying to keep it together because
Like all extra, just big, and like she bought it off the internet.
I
Oh
went.
I want a neck brace. I just want to have one so I can just
my
like
gosh, but that's just how outrageous. And then she would be telling people what happened or what was happening, not what happened, but something. It's just like, yeah, and it's my neck, and it, my neck. Watch.
Oh man.
this is
So when she came in with that wheelchair, I was just like, I love this because nobody who hasn't had anything is like they think this is just over dramatization, but it's not.
No.
but this is like okay. So she not only did she have that wheelchair though, but she brought an entire truck of her shit, and that
Oh
that, is-
yes.
that was like I was like no, mm-mm. You have to start putting that foot down. Fuck Kevin. You have to start being like, nah, son. You are not moving in. You're staying for a couple of days. Like the fuck.
I was
So
like,
yeah.
damn, this is a long ass conference.
And then this is when we get all this shit. It's really
Oh, but
like
it's hilarious. Like when
slightly
she
above minor inconveniences, but those are the worst.
oh my gosh. I mean, it's so much and it's just it's beyond and it's hilarious. But that when she you know how she decided she's like, oh yeah, I wanted to cook for you and cook that nasty crap. Talking about what was it?
Liver, some liver.
Something some kind of meat and kidney,
Oh.
kidney
Actually,
stew.
where the fuck was I? I must have missed this shit too. Whatever. All the first thing I remember is her fake crying.
Oh,
Like that,
the middle of the night scene where she's like asking her, "Oh, get my pills, get some water,
Steak
sleep
and
with me."
no, steak and kidney pie. And then she said, but I didn't really have much steak, so it's mostly kidney.
Oh
And
yeah, she did say
I
that.
think, well,
yeah,
isn't that like isn't I know that's like a British thing. Isn't that kidney beans like steak and kidney beans pie? or is it like
I
actual
don't
kidney?
know. She
No,
interpreted it as kidney.
Well,
yeah,
whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not part of the
So
great.
she was just like having all that disgusting stuff, but then that's when she was in there crying, because when she goes in there, she's like, "Are you all right?" And then she was like, "I'm." What she say? Tell him when she was crying in the bed.
but
She was
And
basically,
that was before the cooking scene because the
was
cooking scene
that?
was after the night
well,
Oh
after.
because she's
no,
basically
because that was when she socked her when she said after she gave her pills and the water, and she's
No,
like,
no, no.
"That was it."
That's way later. Oh, that
No,
the
that's
nighttime
yes.
scene. That was the first night she was there.
Oh yeah.
The one where she feeds her the
Right.
kidney.
Okay.
That
Well,
was
we'll
the
go
night
back to
after.
that one
Yeah.
because this is when she literally socks the shit out of her,
Oh yeah.
pretending to be sleeping, tossing and turning and stuff, and then poop, just socks her super hard and all of that stuff. And then she was tired, and then that's when she no, that was the next night after she was up watching Freddy Krueger and talking through the whole thing and just being
she was
annoying.
she was talking, but the way she was talking. At one point, she says, "Isn't it just nice to just be up with family? You don't even have to say anything."
You know?
I remember, like, all right, here we go. Yeah,
And then
she
when she's all falling asleep and stuff, and then she uh, pumps that one little noise making thing that
about the
like
air horn.
yeah, the air
Yeah.
horn, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought this was the air freshener."
Hold
I mean,
on,
she was just yeah,
I got.
Yeah.
I
it
got.
was just she was doing the absolute
Yeah,
most.
and then but this is like okay, so around this time too, this is when Charlie finds out because mostly because what's his name? Damn it, I keep forgetting his name. Her
Uh,
friend
Remy.
who was
Remy. Yeah.
who
Oh,
was
he went in the closet.
he was
Isn't
wearing
that
my
when he found
yeah.
that she had all kind of information on her?
Yeah, that's and because he comes down and she's like, "Why are you wearing the clothes?" He was like, "Damn that! You know that she's keeping tabs on you, like she has your high school transcripts and all that stuff." So then she's kind of like, "Okay, I see what is going on here." And then that's when she follows her to that restaurant, and we find
Right. Her and Ruby going shopping and all kinds of stuff.
goes to that restaurant, but you cannot. I'm sorry, you cannot go back to that restaurant for at least a couple of months. You can't just go days after the fake doctor who is the waiter at the restaurant. You have to give it time.
No, because if she underestimates her and don't even think she's thinking anything, or she obviously thinks she's better than her, and
Anybody could have seen her there. Any
yeah,
single person could have
true,
been like,
true.
"Hey,
And then
that
he's over there, and she's like, and then that's when she calls the somebody she knows that works at the doctor's office about the pills, and finds out that they're vitamin C.
Flintstones chewable vitamins
Mhm.
to be
And so
precise."
that's when she switches up them pills. And
What did
then
she give her?
I think volumes or something.
I don't know because they worked fast as fuck.
Oh yeah. And so she no, because what that's what it was because of Remy. Because remember he was like, this doesn't look like because he's like, oh, these because he's looking at the outside and he's like, these things are good. And he was like, this smells like orange or something. He was like,
Yeah,
these don't yeah. But she put something in there. I think it was a volume. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know.
Um
Either way, she falls asleep in this tripe, and I'm like, how did she not drown? Like
I
she's
like
face first in the soup. She should have
Yeah.
been dead. She's not making it through the night.
It wasn't a soup. It was
It
it
was
it
was
was
tripe.
the plated
it was tripe.
It wasn't a soup, but it was soupy. Like
a
she, there
little
was,
bit.
Had a
it was
little juice off of it.
little. She was face first in it when she wakes up. When Wanda comes in, this is one of my favorite parts too, because she comes in and she's like, "Okay, I see you." She was like,
Mm,
"What?
She was like, oh, you don't need a gun.
Like, yeah, I see you. You okay? You can hold your own. You gonna be fine. You good? Chill, relax."
She's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Like,
That's when she told you, wake up, yo.
no, she said last call, and
Oh,
that moment,
last
oh
call. That's right. That's right.
alcoholic ass last
yeah,
call.
that's when she realizes she's like, oh, she's trying to get back at me now.
She was like, okay. And then I guess that's when does Kevin come back then?
Yeah,
She goes pick him up, and they go to lunch
no.
together.
We're missing the part. They do. Oh yeah, they do. You're right. She goes to lunch, and this is when she asked her to be her maid of honor and all that stuff. And
yeah.
It's like that's not really a good plan.
She's like, I mean, matron of honor.
Yeah, she's just supposed to be
and then she gets her a peach dress to wear.
She's like, in your favorite color.
In your favorite.
She was like, "Oh, I can't wear that."
And then she decides she's gonna start crying. She's just like, "Oh," and then she's like, "Can you give us a minute?" That's when it's like, "Look."
Wait, can I tell you something about this scene?
What?
Yes.
I noticed that restaurant they're in, like the people were dressed differently. It was the same restaurant, just dressed differently from earlier when they had lunch. Just her and
I thought that too. I think the only difference was like the tablecloth. Like they wanted,
and then certain decorations on the walls
to make it look like a cafe. They just took the tablecloth out, and it was like, okay, now you're in a fancy outside place. Like they only eat outside in this movie. It's fucking weird.
Yeah,
that's not that weird. Honestly, if you go to LA, you will see a grip of places like that.
You have to eat inside once to make me believe that you're not eating at the same place over and over
again. Oh yeah, I can see that in the same movie. Yes,
I can tell by those arches in the walls. It was the same exact place. I was like, I see what you did there.
We don't eat dinner. We only do lunches in this movie. No dinners.
No, we did. We
except for the night of the engagement party.
Those don't count because they were trying to murder each other with dinners.
True.
As a family, no. Well, yeah, there's the dinner, but that dinner doesn't.
So now, basically, is that when they leave from there? And then she was like, "Oh, you forgot your you forgot your dress."
Yeah. Well, because because now basically, since you mentioned it, we're pretty much at the dinner now, and this is where the most awkward. This whole thing is like, who's on first skit, and it's just like, all right, let's do it. And because she comes in, everything's going normal, I guess, as normal as it could be. They're telling stories about people they know. Will Arnett is there being funny, and it somehow. The doctor / waiter is invited.
She invited him. Charlie invited him.
Yeah, I know. So she invites her, and she's like, "Oh my!" And she's so obvious with this shit. She's like, "Oh my God, everybody, look,
Dr. Chamberlain."
You know what I put in my note because it kind of pisses me off about this entire scene with this guy. He is fucking working the entire time. Like, I'm sorry, you are a waiter. Because it's what you do to make blood.
He's probably an actor.
No, this dude is killing me because they're like, "Oh, make a plate." He's like, "Oh, I got it." He starts taking all the plates and stuff.
Well,
stop. You're
People
not
don't carry their job like that.
No, I know. This is one of those over, dramatized things that really wouldn't happen. But for the purpose of just making a point, they do it.
It isn't just him setting his own place. It never stops.
No, I know.
He keeps working.
It's like he's at work. Well, he's working for her, Viola. So I guess he's like, "Oh, I should probably help."
That one time. That one time. And
he probably goes to that restaurant all the. I don't know.
I don't care. Either way, he's working. He should not be working. He's just sit down and eat, bro.
Maybe he's trying to impress her because he knows she knows people, and I bet you he's waiting tables, but he's probably an actor. That's why he's waiting tables.
He should have been acting like a doctor. Like that's all.
I know, dummy.
True.
You don't.
I agree.
I'm going to be impressed because you brought out the hors d'oeuvres.
And then that's when she goes in there and tries to. Oh well, because she found out earlier on. We didn't address that. Charlie was allergic to
blueberries, nuts, soy, eggs.
Yeah. And so she tried to, break up
fresh up peanuts and gravy.
Well, before we get there, because she. Viola invites what's her face again?
Fiona.
Fiona.
Yeah. That's
Fiona comes in and then she's doing nothing, and it's like this whole thing is just dumb, and it's just supposed to make Charlie go, "Oh, I can't believe you invite. Like, but it's
Yeah.
not.
I thought it was so funny when her friends, Charlie's friends or whatever, they're
Oh,
like
they
talking
got
to
starstruck.
Viola.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
she was like complimenting him.
yeah. And Charlie walks in. She's like, "What are you doing?"
Oh
They're
yeah,
like, "Oh, we're just talking to Viola, you know." And she's like,
Well,
"No."
again, I have a friend of mine who would be like, "Oh man, this is so great! Wow, she did all this for y'all. Man, that's really good.
is
That's
it
really good, don't you think?"
without giving away any names? Is it an Auntie L?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I know.
Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I've been dealing with? You know? Yeah.
Oh my god, that's funny. I automatically knew who it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, me too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So this whole thing goes to shit, and you're right. This is the part where she tries to fucking murder Charlie,
Yeah.
and she's just like
Okay, look,
he starts
I
crushing him. So
I
bull.
don't know. Look, I assume she literally could have killed her
Right.
because,
Yeah.
100.
like, I don't know what it's like. My son's allergic to peanuts. He
I'm
carries the
allergic to
EpiPen,
shit.
but I haven't had an instant where I had to use that. But usually, peanut allergies are pretty damn severe, and not just puffing of the face.
Well, yeah,
You
we were
know,
just
because
Kiana's cousin had dealt with it a couple of years ago. It took her out of school for the better part of a year. Peanut
Damn.
allergies, like they're I think they are like the most severe of them because it's like it's so common. Like
Yeah,
peanuts,
that's
like
what it is because so many things
yeah.
have nut product in them.
Even when
yeah,
you go to restaurants or stuff like that, you
Yeah.
have a lot of times you'll have to ask like, hey, was the dough or whatever it is, was it
Yeah.
made in a place that also has shit keeps peanuts and stuff
Yeah.
like that?
What's
You
yeah.
know,
crazy if you think about it, like vegan um places or things, you really would have to be careful with that because they use alternatives
yeah.
to a lot of different things and they would
Yeah.
have that. It's like that's the thing to know. You gotta ask everywhere you go.
Luckily, I'm not allergic to nuts, just shellfish, and that's really
Yeah.
easy to avoid.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
especially since you don't like that stuff. So
Well, I
that
never knew.
helps.
I didn't have it until the one time I did, and then it almost killed me. I didn't know. I've never had it.
Right. Yeah, because I wasn't big on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, who is? Well,
But
never
yeah, she tried to kill her.
Lots of people.
She's just like her face will just puff up. She's like, "No, you trying to kill
Like, no,
her?"
you tried to
you're
kill.
right
She's
though,
like,
because
I'm not gonna be
Ruby
part of this murder.
Ruby is the only one. Like a person who only hears about allergies through like cartoons and TV is like, oh yeah, if you watch a sitcom, you'll see somebody get allergies and their lips get big. But in
Right.
reality, you don't know the severity of anyone's allergies. Like her throat could have closed, she could have choked to death.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
all kinds of things would have happened. Like
Oh
even
my
when
gosh.
because they go, they're fighting over it, and she's busting up Ruby for some reason. And then the waiter
You gotta
dude,
know Ruby's taking it easy on her because she older. She's like, lady.
I'm knocking her the fuck out. Ruby, basically, the waiter dude comes in and just takes the gravy, and he goes, and then, but why? Once again, why is this nigga working? It bothers me so much that
Grabbing all the food and stuff and taking it back out.
Doing stuff. And then that's when they hear it's like, ooh, gravy.
it bothers me so
They
much.
both stop like,
And then they were like, okay, what happens? And I love it because Ruby is like, yo, you going down and I'm gonna sing like a motherfucking canary. You are on
I'm gonna
your
sing like a
own.
canary.
If you kill her, I'm telling everybody what happened. It's not even gonna be, it's gonna be quick.
She's
I will tell
making
you.
sure she ain't gonna be an accessory to murder.
Yeah, and you could easily be like that's the thing. It's such an extreme thing, but this is like obviously she's at her wits end, and you're supposed to be like, well, she can't take it anymore. I was like, I don't give a fuck. You're an adult.
Well, she had changed her mind, but then that's when Homeboy came and got the gravy.
Yeah, but it's. But my thing,
So-
okay. So everybody else at this party is equally as fucking stupid because she didn't crush it up good enough, and she only put it on the top of the gravy. Somebody could have easily been like, "Yo, are there peanuts in this gravy?" Like, in this gravy. Like she pours it on there and she's like, this gravy smells good. And I'm just like,
There wasn't a little too much crunch.
not even the crunch. It's just like this has to be a big ass chunk of at the top of the gravy thing because that's all she put in. She took that big ass bag, started munching them a little bit, put them in the gravy. Anybody with two
God,
words,
you know why I'm laughing, Tracy? You cannot get nothing past you.
it's just so dumb to me. Anybody with two eyeballs, one eyeball, nearsighted, farsighted, legally blind.
You know how? Okay, no. What I mean is, you know how you might see something in a
No,
movie,
I'm
John,
sorry.
and you're like, it's like, okay, this is kind of, this ain't realistic, this ain't. But you'll like try to ignore it so you can enjoy the movie. Tracy can't do
But
that.
this a lot of things maybe, but this one is dumber because it's like
Very
because
choosy.
of the way that it was crunched. It wasn't like she mixed it in with the gravy. It's just a bunch of
But see,
broke.
the movie is trying to make you assume that it
The
was,
movie
that
showed me that she
it
didn't
got
eat that part.
camouflaged because it fell down into the bottom or whatever.
Man, gravy. I can't let
Moving on. Let's move on from this gravy thing. The fact is,
Okay,
they
so
didn't
then
see it for whatever dumb
she
reason.
has her allergic reaction, and then they finally show her, and her lips are all extra.
That was the
Extra
morning
big.
after.
That
Oh
was
no, not the morning. That
no,
was
that
the
was the
night.
night of, and,
yeah, it was that night.
and he was saying, "Don't worry, within about 24 hours, you should be okay." Blah blah blah, and she looked crazy though. She was toe up,
I
and
like
then
how who was it that walks with her friend?
Remy,
Oh yes.
when the next day, and he was talking about, he's like, "Do you think Viola?" Is like, nah.
Oh no, I like the part because I think I know what you're talking about, John. What happens is she's telling Kevin, who is boringly trying to reassure her, and she's like, "Oh my god, I have puffy lips and all that stuff," and she was like, "No, you're fine." And then Will Arnett comes in. He was like, "All right, I'm headed." Oh my god, like he hits her with one of those.
No, the next day when Remy comes, because
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
that's what, yeah.
that part was what
that's
I
what
was
Johnny.
talking about.
That's
But yeah,
No,
when
yeah,
Remy comes and they're
yeah, and
like,
he's
"You
like,
think she?" Nah.
nah, and then they look again, and nah, because it's like that is preposterous.
But at this point, they know, which is why I feel like they should know. Because at this point, not only has they found out that she's been keeping tabs on her, trying to find dirt on her, and all this other stuff, they
No,
know.
that's like we can't. We're not even gonna. No, we're not gonna think that. That's just too
I'm sorry.
far.
If that's my friend, I'm like, look, I don't know her well enough. I don't know. And she's been in Hollywood for so long. We don't know how many bodies she's got hidden somewhere. Like, get out of here. Yeah, like, yeah, she probably did try to kill you. Now we got to kill her.
She really did try to kill her. She was trying to take her
But
out.
she didn't try to. She was thinking. She said it. Oh, her face will just swell up.
Nope. But after Ruby had already made it clear that there is a possibility that you could, she should have been like, "You're right." No,
She
the
did.
face, no,
But by that time, he grabbed the
they
gravy.
were fighting. She already told her like, "You're gonna kill this girl." She didn't. She
And
said
she was still going.
she said the face swell up thing for plausible deniability. So when the cops asked Ruby, she was like, "Well, all she did say was she didn't think she was gonna die. She just thought her face was gonna swell up." Like that's what she knew what she was doing. She was trying to kill this girl, man. I don't care what it is. Allergies, you can't just be like here.
Nah,
No,
don't take that lightly.
Definitely not. So that's it. So the next day is
The wedding.
Yeah, and then so she's trying to get ready, just being normal. They show this old lady arriving.
So bag. She has
Oh,
a
what
really
is
good
she?
line. This dude tries to help her, and she's
She's
like,
like, "Don't touch me. Yeah,
"Get
don't touch me."
out the way. I got in by myself." I was like, all right, that's a pretty badass lady. Cool.
So she comes in, and then that's when
Viola comes
Viola
in.
decides to wear the white dress.
My God, I saw that and I was like, look, I don't give a fuck who it is. She was like, and I loved it because she was like, take it off. Take it off. I will take it off of you. Like, you have to take it off. Like, period. You can't
Yeah, she was dead serious. She was sick
that.
of it. She's like, I'm sick of your shit. Take that off.
And this is my part where they just start slapping the shit out of each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Slapping the shit out of each other because Viola slaps her. I forgot what she said to her that made her want to slap her the first time.
No, because she said, you don't just somebody you better, what
So
she
she
say, you
pokes her at
better
first.
huh?
Charlie, she pokes her
Okay,
at
yeah, that's
first.
what it
Oh,
poke. She goes, "Don't poke me." And then when Charlie pokes her, that's when Viola slaps her first. Then Charlie slaps
No,
her back.
Jennifer slapped her first, and then
oh,
Oh
she
yeah,
Viola
apologized or
slapped
something.
the shit out of her. Like that's what I thought
and
was
then
funny.
yeah,
I'm like, she really slapped the shit out of her.
it was
It
a
looked
good.
real, to be honest.
It was a good. Well, it probably had to be at some point. They had to make it look good. So you have Prince Boring in here bringing it down. You got to bring it back up at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, those slaps were legit though. But yeah, so then she's just like, fuck it, I'm not doing this. I can't do it. You win. I'm out. And then she goes to talk to Prince Boring again. And he's just like, hey,
Well,
let's
no,
go to the room.
before that, the mother-in-law comes in.
Not yet.
Oh,
No,
not yet.
not yet.
Yet.
The
Because he
mother of
does.
the mother.
She goes to talk to she goes to talk to Prince Boring, and nothing happens because no, you are right, Jonna. You are
Yeah.
right. She does come in, and then she was like, that's gonna be us. Like, oh, because what happens is, okay, so this old lady comes in. She's clearly she is Viola's
Her,
mother-in-law,
right.
and she's just like, oh, you didn't even want to invite me to the wedding. Which how did she get? I'm sure Kevin invited her, but she comes in, and then they're just going back and forth with it. And she was like, oh, you get the fuck out of here. Nobody was ever. No, you weren't good enough for my son, and blah blah blah. When I met you, you were driving a piece of shit car and
And
eating.
drinking
Drinking wine
red
out of a
wine
box.
from a box.
Yeah, so it's just like, and then that's exactly what she said. She was just like, I just want my son to marry someone good enough, and blah blah blah. She was like, that's gonna be us. That's gonna be us in 20
Oh,
years.
then wait, but what about when she sees her and she says, "Oh, what did she say?
Calls
Sassy
her an
Latina,
exotic Latina.
exotic Latina."
I was like,
She's like, "I wish my son would have done as well." Or damn, she was
well, yeah,
brutal, and
well,
that's
when you
what she
get old,
said.
you get to say whatever you want.
Huh?
Those are the rules. That's the trade-off. When you get old, you get to talk and say and do whatever you want, and no one's allowed to say shit about it. You just have to eat that shit, and it sucks.
Nah, they just old.
You're like,
So that's when
can't
she.
do
That's when
that.
she's like, "Okay, that's gonna be us. This will never end." And
Yeah,
then that's when she was just like, "I just no, I can't do it." And that's when she was going to tell
Kevin,
uh Kevin,
Prince
and
Boring.
then she was gonna tell him, and then she came. She's like, "Charlie," and then she tried to get her to not say anything. And she's like, "Please," and then then I guess she just let her. Okay, I'll be
Yeah, she's
back.
like, I'll come. Hold on, and then
Yeah.
he's looking like, okay,
No, I like what she first said. She said, the flower girls are all drunk again. And I like how Kevin was like, wait, what? What?
that joke would have been funnier because I was waiting for him to be like, they're 12. Like, that would have been.
Or
Then,
younger.
then she has to say something to cover that up. Like that would have been. But she's just like, he was just like, wait, huh? What? Oh my god! I just believe everything that happens around here. Look at me.
So then she goes and talks to her, and that's when I guess she realized when she came face to face with her old mother-in-law,
They hash it
monster-in-law.
out. I put they hash it out with boundaries.
Well, but yeah, basically, because what she says is she goes, okay, look, I get you. I'll stay out of his life. That's what you want. And she was like, no, that's not what I want. We got to have boundaries. And they start basically making weird deals where she's like, you cannot call him like 8 times a day. She was like, well, I have to have 4 minimum.
And
But
she's like,
I did want to mention that because there is a scene in here that gives me weird mother vibes. And it's when Charlie is in the bathtub and she's talking to Kevin.
oh yeah.
It's supposed to get sexy or whatever, but she comes in and she gets the phone and she's talking to Kevin. What she does weirds me the fuck.
Oh, when she get on the bed,
yes.
like,
She gets on the bed and she starts kicking her feet like a teenager, man. And I'm just like, he's called her mother.
He does call her mother. He does. It's obvious.
So weird. He is weird. Never not weird. It's never not weird.
Yeah, that was. But I think that was her purposely just being obnoxious.
No,
But he treats it like, oh,
I
that's
don't
my
think so. I
mom.
think that's how she always talks to her son. Because here's
And
the
then
thing.
well, he's very oblivious. But again,
No, oblivious
wait,
is one thing. That's dumb.
wait. No, what I'm saying, he is, and again, I'm gonna tell you, rooted in reality. But he's kind of like, um, oh, like she said, I think your mother, and he kind of was like, oh no, I'm sure she didn't mean that. I
Oh yeah,
think she
yeah.
just,
Early,
there's somebody, and
yeah.
it's not my husband,
We
but there's
already know
somebody
he
who does
permits her
that on that
mom.
end.
Is it
He permits his mom to be any old kind of way.
an uncle whose name is R?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I got it. But no, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if it was oblivious, that'd be one thing. But he should have been like, okay, could you give Charlie the phone back? Like, the fuck. Not
Well,
one.
they could have seen, so you don't know technically.
No, they were having a conversation. I'm sorry.
And then he's like, he doesn't want to. We don't want. I'm telling you, he doesn't want to rock anything because he knows. Oh, I'm not all she's got, and then I don't want her to. Remember she had a whole nervous breakdown and
You gotta
all
be
of
like,
that.
all right, Ma, let me talk to my fiance. I did call her, or she called me, either or.
Yeah.
Like, fuck out of
See,
here.
the thing is, you don't have to worry about those things. That's the great part. It's because of
Oh, yeah,
my
all I'm
experience.
saying-
Look, it's because of my experience. I am a top-notch mother-in-law.
Look, I
If
can
I
say
say so
this.
myself.
I can look at this movie and say, she's crazy. I've got tendencies in me. I don't know how I'm going to be when JJ becomes a grown man. I don't.
You'll be fine. You'll be heavily sedated.
You think I would be one of those moms, pops a
No,
pillow, has a drink of wine with her?
we're going to sedate you for all of these events. We can't allow you to roam free. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you got something in your blood. It might,
You can't roam free. We gotta if
you
left
can't take the chance.
Look, I almost couldn't let him go to daycare. I was crying in the car.
All right, but yeah, so we get to this. They basically make the deal. She's like, you can only call him twice, I guess. And she tries to get her to say one, but 2 out of the 8 is fine. I'm thinking that. And then I guess one of the other deals is like no micro parenting kind of deal, which
Don't tell us.
she immediately contradicts. Well, not like 100% contradicts, but she kind of contradicts herself because she does end up saying, I want you to be, she does, like grandmother shit, like I want you to spoil them and all this stuff and teach them things that we can't. And I'm just like, but the thing you said, what you're saying now, like I get what you're trying to do.
Fine. I get it. It's like be a grandmother, but don't try to take over.
Yeah. Don't micromanage.
Yeah, mom.
But my favorite part, because this is when it gets all sentimental and sappy, is when she's like, birthdays, Christmas. And she's like, you don't want me to be. She was like, you don't want me
I
to
can't be there for any holidays.
Oh, yeah. She was like, you will be present every Christmas, every birthday, every recital, baseball game. And I was like, all right, you got me with that one.
I like how the one Ruby, the one Wanda Sykes plays, she's listening outside the door. She's like, man, that girl gives one hell of a speech.
She don't know how to give a speech.
I'll say, like, she delivered. I will say that. The thing is,
I love her.
There are very few movies where I think that Jennifer Lopez is actually delivering.
Yeah.
This one, Anaconda is the other, and I think it's The Cell with William. Is it The Cell?
What did you say the first one was?
The first one was this. I said the second one was Anaconda.
Oh.
It was an Anaconda?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's the lead. The two people of color survive.
Her and Ice Cube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that. I don't know why I'm like, I was thinking snakes on a plane. I'm so stupid.
Wow.
I just thought it was snake.
I liked Enough.
I didn't.
Huh?
You didn't like Enough?
No, because I don't like those stories. They're so unreal. Like she would have got her ass beat so bad it wouldn't even it would have just been done. That movie would have been 10 minutes long. She'd have like, I've had enough. With her little training, open that door. Patrick Wilson would have shot her. It would have been over. Game over. Movie over.
Okay, whatever. Anyway.
Terrible.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a generally, I am not a fan. But you want to know something?
No.
You know the movie, remember me and Kiana on the date night we did Hustlers? I didn't care for that movie.
I would have loved
Hustlers.
I know I said I would have loved to be there for that one. Because that's my favorite episode.
I didn't really care. the movie just it was kind of disappointing based on the hype.
Very much so
However,
this movie.
her character, she played the character.
It was just
It,
confusing.
it was but she played the character.
No,
So
she did good, but
yeah, she did.
once again, very few things that she's
Yeah,
in.
yeah, she doesn't always deliver. That's for sure. But
You know,
I
I think
liked
Keke
her in
Palmer did
this.
better, was the best person in that entire movie.
Who?
Keke Palmer.
Oh yeah,
She was my favorite character in that entire movie.
she was. She was out there.
I still didn't see it yet,
She
so
was like because she was the only one who got the assignment. She
Yeah,
clearly understood what was going on.
she did. She committed. She was hardcore all the way.
All right, so yeah, wedding. Everything's cool. There's a really
well, it's the end. Let's wrap it up. She put on that
that's what I'm
stupid
saying.
peach dress,
She
and
put
then
on
they
that-
have a beautiful wedding, and then she throws the bouquet. And guess who catches it? Viola. The end.
and then just shrug.
No, and then before that though, when she walks, he goes away and she's waving like, "Oh, my son,"
But she
and then
feels that
he comes back and he
you
hugs her. He's like, "I love you." He said, "You didn't think I was gonna leave and not say goodbye."
You're putting too much on that. You gotta bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. That was acting. What you did was acting. He was like, "You did not think I was going to leave without saying goodbye, did you?"
Yeah, everything he said throughout this whole movie was
fucking robot, and like
you couldn't like. It's weird. The things he said, you could have felt it. Like no matter almost who said it.
You know what?
But he somehow managed to say it in the blandest ways.
I think what you said, Mom, about about this being on purpose, I think this is twofold now. One, obviously, so it doesn't take the focus away from Jane Fonda and Jennifer Lopez.
Right, for sure.
I think it's so that Jennifer Lopez looks like a better actress. Like, it's like, okay, let's look at
he literally had to be the absolute least significant because it could turn into a love story and it wasn't. You get what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying.
Because even Wanda Sykes, her character had a lot, and was a side character with a lot, but it was okay because she wasn't going to take away.
I get that. That's what I'm saying. Like I do think it's twofold, but it is so. I do think that happens where they just put in bad actors to make other not so great actors look better. Like, I mean, you put Channing Tatum next to Jonah Hill, so Jonah Hill looks like the better actor. 21 Jump Street, like Jonah Hill.
His name is Michael Vartan.
Yeah, he's boring.
Yeah, no, definitely
boring ass name, Michael Vartan. It's like it's not a real name. It's a made up name. They made this nigga up. Like,
and he looks like a Michael.
He one of those names. He played an Alias.
I never watched. That's the Jennifer Garner joint, right?
Yeah, that was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't know because you ain't never watched it.
I also don't have lots of friendly things to say about Jennifer Garner either, especially after watching Elektra. If it wasn't for 13 going on 30, she would literally not even be a known to me. She's garbage. She's garbage.
Yeah, that's the only reason I knew her when I was younger. 13 going on 30.
Garbage. I think you're a little extra.
I think she's garbage.
Alias was good. You should watch it.
Well, it was like I was either gonna watch Alias or Dark Angel, and you're asking me to stab myself twice. And Dark Angel was easier to catch.
I'm sure it's streaming somewhere.
Oh, you think it's not on something? Of course, I'm not gonna go watch it.
Oh, he was in Columbiana?
Yeah, I never even got around to watching that.
You didn't see Columbiana? That was a good movie. It was short, but it was.
Well, it should be. This movie was too long.
It was a little bit, but it wasn't that long. It was
like an hour 40.
I don't know. That's because we actually enjoyed it. It's like
I was rolling through this whole movie watching it.
We were rolling.
We should have cut out we should have cut out them meeting and just started the movie with them meeting.
Yeah, it wasn't really necessary to the whole scheme of things.
All you had to do was have them bump into each other, leave it alone, and then have them meet the parents. Boom. You cut out 20 minutes of nonsense of fucking.
It would have been a really short movie, honestly. There's a lot of things that could have been cut out. It would have been such a short movie.
It would have.
We didn't need a lot of that.
It would have been short.
I mean,
let's get to the thing.
Okay.
Mom's movie.
I'm
Jonna,
last.
would you like to go first this time?
Sure, why not?
All right, we're on final thoughts, Jonna.
Final thoughts here. I give this movie, because it still makes me laugh so much, just like thinking of ways I can
Really?
relate it when it comes to seeing that person on screen, the character Jane Fonda plays.
Jane.
Um, I think it's hilarious. I give it a 8.5.
Jesus.
I give it an 8.5 because honestly, I still enjoy this movie. Like watching this movie, like it just gives me a giggle every time. So good
Wow.
movie. Good movie.
Okay, so I like this movie because it's funny, but rewatching this because I haven't seen it in a while, it did not hold the same for me, and it dragged a little bit. And Captain Boring really just took me out of this movie. I'm gonna give it a 6. It's above half, so it's still decent, but I'm giving it a 6 mostly because I don't really care for Captain Boring or Jennifer Lopez. So but it's fine. It's funny. I think Jane Fonda's great. I think Wanda Sykes is great. I think everybody else is great for the most part. I just think that Captain Boring shouldn't is just
You stop calling him Captain Boring.
yeah. It's just because it's hard to ignore at a certain point. So that's me.
Well, this was my pick, and it was a certain point I think that me and Jonna, we probably watched this movie once every 6 months.
That's a lot.
Because it was just hilarious and, well, uncanny. But anyway, I enjoyed it. I laughed heartily as usual to the same velocity. And just like Jonna, a lot of relating. So it just made it even funnier. And Jane Fonda, above all, it was Jane Fonda, then Wanda Sykes, then J Lo, and well, again, Captain Boring was negligible, but he didn't take anything away from me. And I'm like, and Remy, her friend, that all of that. That was just, it was all great. It's just a hilarious movie, even in the parts that are kind of, you know, suspect, if you will. So for me, I'm giving it a 9.5.
Christ.
That's pretty high. I didn't take it that far.
No, that's a big,
And crackers, lady. Like, I don't know. I think,
I love it.
I cannot tell anybody how to rank their movie,
Well,
but
did you see the thing Jonna put up about 3 movies? If you were on a desert island and you could only take 3 movies, uh, you know, to watch, that's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
what? I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of 3 movies I would
I
have
mean,
taken, but
that's if I'm forced to
First,
say it.
the
It's
first,
very hard to think
the
of three
first,
damn movies that
first
you would
Ninja
only want to
Turtles.
watch.
That's it.
What?
I got it. The first Ninja Turtles. I'm definitely
Oh,
taking that.
I
Uh,
knew it. I knew that. You're gonna
probably
take Fight Club.
no. I'm not taking Fight Club.
no?
No?
I'm gonna take Blade 2
Oh,
and
what's his name? The one with uh the Irish dude in the doing the fighting
Frank?
in the Roman times. What's that movie you like?
Oh, never mind.
you talk. Wait, what?
Oh, Troy.
Troy.
Irish dude.
No, that's not Irish dude.
Yeah,
That was
he's Scottish.
Yeah, Troy.
Scottish or
Troy
whatever.
was gonna be the other one, but huh?
That's what I meant. Troy.
What Scottish dude?
He's Scottish.
Ain't
The
he?
guy.
Who?
Oh no, you're thinking of the other movie. No, that's the movie with
Troy
Brad Pitt, Mom.
Oh,
You talking
Brad
about
Pitt is in Troy. That's right. Never mind. I
300
know.
has
Yeah.
Gerard
No.
Butler who
Okay.
clearly
I'm
can't
thinking about
who can only be
I
Scottish.
know
what's that
what you're
dude's
thinking
name?
about.
I
Colin
just said
Farrell. For some reason.
oh, he's not in that.
No, I know. I know.
I know
Tripping.
you had me tricked for a second.
All right. So Jonna, what are we doing? What are we doing next week?
Okay. So
Oh boy.
next week, I thought this one was crazy. This is when I was me and Maya, we were on a Lifetime movie kick. We came
Oh,
across this one. It's called Glass House, The Good Mother. And let me tell you that one's crazy. We just gotta watch it. We gotta watch it. So Glass House, The Good Mother. Obviously not a good mother in this case.
it's a lifetime movie.
It will. it was on. It was on Lifetime. I think it is like a Lifetime production kind of.
Shit.
No.
All right.
You don't like it.
All
like
right.
it.
Well, guys, on that note, thank you all for being here. Yeah, that's all I got.
That's it. That's
Well,
the end here.
yeah, there's nothing left to see here.
Bye.
Seats taken.
Bye.
Can't sit here.